Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. DJ Williams on his upcoming By Way of RVA.
last time we talked was the end of March last year, and
Wow, was it that long ago?
either
Wow.
Soldier of Love had just come out or it was coming out at that point.
Yep.
So
Very
you
true. Yeah.
want to talk a little bit about the reaction to it, which you've been seeing over the past 8-9 months?
The reaction has been great, and it's funny, these things like I know I do. I can't speak for everyone else, but I kind of tend to grandize these things in my head sometimes more than I actually should, because like it's my art, and I get really excited about it, and I build up to be these things, and during the process of recording, I'm hearing all these ideas that have just been seeds in my head all coming to life. So for this record, I kind of learned to tame that back a little bit and not have this huge expectation, because as artists, we put this art out there, and you're burying yourself naked, and you don't always get the reaction that you build in your head sometimes. So I went into putting out this record with no kind of preconceived notions of what to expect, and just kind of surrender to just like, hey, I did this and I'm proud of it and I'm putting out, and whatever the people think of it is up to them and it's not up to me. And I literally just put it out and immediately started working on the next project in
Oh,
order to kind of,
yeah.
once you put out in the world, it's not up to you anymore. I did my part, and I'm proud of it, and that's all I can say. And once it's out in the world, whatever happens to it happens to it. I just hope it brings people as much joy as it does for me putting it out there.
Yeah. Have you found any particular tracks really resonating live when you're
Yeah, Johnny's Got a Gun has been truly a crowd favorite. I think a lot of these songs have these kind of really simple choruses, and kind of, I've learned to simplify my songwriting, and I'm trying to be more of a songwriter than just the jam. The jam is for the stage, but as far as like being in the studio, I've really learned to hone in these 3, 4, 5 minute songs. This is just the meat and the bones, and then when I take it to the stage, then I can stretch the stuff out then. But yeah, I think Johnny's Got a Gun and Whippersnapper has been definitely a hit on the dance floor as well too. It's kind of that Prince kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned songwriting because, I mean, obviously that comes up so often, and it does seem like that's the trend. When an artist kind of hits whatever the milestone is, it's different for everybody. It feels like there is a trend toward simplifying in whatever way that means to somebody, because I think
Yeah.
it's really different, and it almost feels like whatever the time frame is where that starts to happen is because you're trusting maybe your instincts in a different way. I'm wondering if you feel like you're doing that now, if there's any reason or anything kind of led to that.
If I had to put into words, I'd say it's I'd call it like musical maturity. Like, especially when I first started playing guitar, you start to learn all these like fast licks and these things that will gain a reaction, and all these things that you've learned and accumulated, you want to throw it all out there at once, and then eventually it's like, all right, well, am I doing this because I want to gain a reaction, or am I doing this because it serves the song? And I think as you start to progress as a musician, you start to focus more on, well, what benefits the song instead of what's going to gain a reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, did you carry that through into the new stuff? Like, do you feel like
Oh,
you've been,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I've been. This is the first record I've probably like listened to the most on my own. Like, I'm playing this record in my car when I'm like running errands. Like that. That's how much fun I've had with this one. And then it's also, I did this record completely by myself in my home, and it was just like, it was a great learning experience. And I've kind of dabbled in this before, but never fully went in 100% as I did on this next one, which has been a great learning experience for me.
Does it change your songwriting approach at all if it's just you in-house doing it than having a group around you to bounce
Oh,
off of?
100%. Yeah, because because like I can play drums and I played drums before I played guitar, but I don't play it as often. So my limitations on some of these other instruments kind of forced to simplify the songs even more than what I would if I had like a completely professional only drummer on this record. Yeah.
And the drums were done in the closet or the bathroom?
Yeah, so I have this walk-in closet in right next to my bedroom, and so I just ran a bunch of cables from the desk in my bedroom under the carpet into the closet where I did the drums and the vocals in there. All the guitar and keyboard stuff was at my desk, and the vocals and stuff I threw in the shower because it just has a great natural reverb. I thought people love singing in the shower. It sounds good.
So
Fantastic.
where's that at right now? Like in terms of like milestones for all of that. Did you get it mastered by anyone, or like are
Yeah,
you
that was
really
the only part that I didn't do myself. There's a
okay?
guy in Fort Collins named Doug Krebs, and he's done a lot of mastering for me, but I that's the one thing that I wasn't gonna try to do myself. I did mix it myself, I engineered it myself, but I left the mastering up to him. He's a true pro.
And this is your own record label, right?
Yep, Project Records. It's named after my first band in Virginia, DJ Williams Project.
I remember them well. Um, so the live band that you have together, is that morphing and changing every time, or do you have a solid lineup down?
It's always been morphing and changing, but I'm going back out in the spring, starting on the West Coast, and I think I'm looking towards having a more solidified band.
Okay. Is that going to be like you told me before you had an LA group, I guess was called
Yeah,
Shots Fired maybe before, and then you had
yeah. The
DJ
Shot
Williams
Card
on.
was literally supposed to be the West Coast version of DJ Williams Project, but
Right.
like right now, I'm trying to have a Denver-based solid band, at least for a look for the foreseeable future of just like a group of guys to really tighten and kind of hone that relationship with that you have with your band is comes through in the music. So I think having a concrete band would kind of help solidify my live show moving forward.
And probably open up the song of pool the pool of songs you could do, because if you have different people all the time, you can't say here learn 50 songs. You gotta, you
I
know.
can though.
I like that
I
answer.
am that guy. That's the beauty about
Here
being a
you
band leader. If you can't do what I ask, I'm gonna find someone who can do it.
go. Right? It's a 4 gigabyte file full of
Yeah,
songs to learn
yeah,
there.
totally. I do have a Dropbox with all that stuff in it. It's getting pretty wild looking right now.
Oh God, I bet. Yeah, because I know you were just, oh gosh, was it last night? You were at the Meadowlark
Yeah,
or 2 nights ago? I
last night.
mean, yeah. Uh, and I know it's got to be the tricky thing, I would imagine, out here has to be so many people are doing multiple projects.
Absolutely, including myself. Yeah.
Exactly, right. So, like just logistically, because my mind is that way, project management, timing. I'm like,
Yeah.
scheduling wise, does that ever get like just super tricky to try to figure out? Or is it more of just planning ahead enough so that people know, like, okay, we're going to be doing this thing on this date? Because
Yeah.
Denver also feels like, yeah, busy.
It totally, yeah, absolutely, it totally can be busy. But just like I have that, I'm a very OCD structured person when it comes to that. It's like my Google Calendar is all color coordinated with if it's in red, then it's my band. If it's in yellow, it's this band. And like I list every band member that's on every show and what time is loaded, what's the GPS location. Like I keep everything pretty organized because if I don't, it'll be mayhem. So and everyone is very busy, but I try to catch people at least 2 or 3 months in advance. So I have all that stuff locked in, and because that I'll get anxiety if I don't have any of that stuff dialed in.
You're making a big move to band leader, basically leaving Carl D last year, and you've
Yeah,
taken all that over. A lot more responsibility with that, huh?
totally. Yeah, but it's not anything that I'm not used to, because this is where I was before I joined Carl's band. I'd always been a band leader, so it's just diving back into it full time again.
Very nice. And what about the record company? How has that been going? Having throwing that on that plate in the air.
Well, the thing, this the name Project Records I've been using, and coming on this record, and now that I'm formally putting out on my own label, I was like, maybe I should actually make this official because I've been using this name, and so I put it out there, and luckily it was still available, and I've made it an LLC, and I'm not looking to be a label to sign anybody. I just want to take control of my own art because I haven't had the best experiences with record labels, that every record label that I've been working with, and I'll just leave that at that.
Right. I mean, what I don't know how much a record label offers an artist these days. I mean, maybe in some arenas, pop
Yeah,
arena or something like that, but
yeah.
in the world that we exist in, it doesn't seem like the label is that important.
Not they're really not, and it's a thing like if you are willing to put just a little bit of time and effort and learn a little bit about promoting yourself. And the hardest part is the funding. If you are in a position where you can fund your own record studio, and if you just want to take the time to learn like I did and get a nice laptop and do it at home with yourself with a few nice microphones and some instruments in the closet, that was my route. That's what logistically works for me. And a lot of artists, I don't know, it scares them to think about taking on all that work. So you sign off on a label and they handle the heavy work, but I'm not that person. I will gladly take on the heavy load on my own.
Well, you're organized though. I mean, we've
Yeah.
encountered so many musicians are even difficult just to get them in the door here. You know,
Oh,
once you
I
get them in the
bet.
door, it's great. But I'm thinking you need a manager. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, those are not skills that I would imagine, are not going to be part of like they're just not part of training for so many different fields, and a lot of it
They're
just comes
not.
from like there's an inclination, basic stuff. I think most people could do, but like learning that while you're building the thing is
Yeah.
a
And
lot.
it's also been a thing I've also been really surprised that a lot of my peers who went to music school aren't taught any of these things. You're taught how to be proficient at your instrument, but no one
Mhm.
ever teaches you how to book a gig. No one ever teaches you really how to even like use a microphone. Like all these things that you need out in like the real world skills, they don't teach you at all in music school. And it's surprising to me. All that money you pay, but you don't know how to book your own gig coming out of it. That seems
they should have a
kind of
business plan,
counterintuitive.
right?
They
They should have
should.
a business
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
that's
and
what you're
that's
doing. You're running a business. I mean,
that's
absolutely.
fascinating. Yeah, for especially for right now, 2024, like that management skill, because there's programs for that, but usually it's not for the musician. It's for someone that
Yeah,
wants to work with the label or be a publicist or something,
totally.
um, which is also very important too. Um, okay, so if you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.